Hey guys, this is my foam roller routine that I do 2 to 3 times per day, every day. It helps really break up some tension that I carry in my low back and glutes from being on my feet all the time and working out regularly. I typically start off hitting my glutes a little bit, just on each side kind of lightly. From there, I'll go down the center of my back, and I'll do that anywhere from 5 to 10 times. And this routine normally takes me anywhere between 2 minutes to 5 minutes, depending on how long I'm holding the foam roller in areas and trying to really break up the fascia and knots that I carry. A lot of times I spend a little more time on one side than the other. I typically can find some good knots up in the shoulder blades. I'll spend a little bit more time on. As you move your arm around, it'll change the position of your scapula, your shoulder blade, and you'll be able to hit some of those knots. Make sure you're breathing through those moments when it gets tense. That breathing helps to help relax the muscles. So that breathing is really important when you get on a spot where you're like, ooh, that really hurts. And you want to make sure you hang in and hold that spot and breathe through it. I use the firm foam roller. Some people, you might want to start out with the blue, the softer one. It's a lot easier when you're first starting out, going straight to the firm black ones or any of the other more rigid types. It can be really painful in the beginning. I don't spend a lot of time on the low back, particularly. I like to focus on the upper back and the glutes. For me, focusing in the glutes a little bit later on, that helps with the low back. Then I also like to do a few of these like leg spreads. That really helps kind of loosen up the hips and keep the mobility there, especially on leg days. You know, I'll spend a lot of time doing a few of these, trying to really open up the hips. My favorite stretch is the crossover. Pull your leg across your body like you would laying on the ground, but when you do it on the foam roller, you can adjust yourself and find certain spots. And for me, it's like giving myself an adjustment at the chiropractor. I mean, I get these really low back pops, and it really helps when I really pull. Again, breathe through the stretches, but you'll get a really good stretch on the QL in the low back, and that's going to help relieve some of that back stress too if you carry tension back there. So that crossover stretch on the foam roller, it's another level than just doing it on the ground, especially when you position that foam roller in your hip so that it's lying on the other side of the foam roller. You'll feel a big difference versus just doing it on the ground. So again, hold and breathe. Those are the two keys when you're finding those spots and you feel that tension. Don't try and rush through it. Take your time, and you'll notice a big difference, by the time you finish. When you're doing those holds and you're breathing, you'll notice you'll be able to get a little bit more stretch, little by little. From there, then I go up into a figure four stretch where you kind of really focus on one side. The great thing about this one is you're gonna hit the glute maximus, medius, and minimus. You're gonna get all of them. This one's a big one for me. This was what really helps a lot, actually really relieve that back stress, is doing this stretch right here. I notice afterwards I always tend to feel a lot better because I tend to be really tense back there. So this one is where you really, you're going to breathe through. You're going to find some spots where it's really tough, especially in the beginning. So take your time on this, make sure you breathe through it, and really kind of move around, find those spots where you really hold the tension. Some people it's more at the base of the glutes, some people it tends to be much higher, closer to the tailbone. And when you get up into that gluteus minimus and medius, you're gonna really notice like, ooh, that's tough. So really trying to find those. This portion of the stretch is big for me. I do this one, like I said, 2 to 3 times a day, all these stretches. I do them at home in the morning, then I typically do one during the day. Before every workout, I do this stretch. And then I'll normally kind of finish with a little hamstring stretch at the end, make sure everything feels good. And after this, I'm ready to go.